Hi everyone, this is Paul here from the Magdalen Centre. Today I'm doing the report for January 2018, outlining the key events during the month and the overall theme that the month will be exploring. So to start off with, the key dates for January will be the 2nd, when we have both a full moon in Cancer and the end of Uranus retrograde. Then on the 17th we have the new moon in Capricorn, so this is obviously an opportunity for new beginnings. On the 20th, the Sun moves into Aquarius, and then on the 31st, we have the lunar eclipse in Leo. So this is obviously the beginning of the first eclipse season of the year. So, in terms of the Sun's position, we start off with the Sun in Capricorn, which is the highest point in the chart. So this is looking at our highest individual potential. So think of climbing the mountain or climb to the summit of our own personal mountain. It's having learned the natural laws when the sun's going through Sagittarius. Now it's applying them in our lives, and by doing this we learn to elevate our consciousness. We climb up that personal mountain through results like patience, through perseverance, through self-discipline and self-control. And we take the small individual steps every single day necessary to manifest the goal that we're striving for, which is to rise at the top of the mountain. And in the process, by walking our talk, we develop the end goal of Capricorn, which is integrity, where we're true to who we are, our public persona that people who don't know us very well see is a mirror of our internal nature. So we're not wearing a mask, pretending to be something that we're not. We're true to who we are, and it's living our lives in alignment with the universal laws. So once we understand this, we can align our actions and our desires with the spiritual laws that underlie everything, so that we're aware that if we take an action, there will be a reaction. But if we understand our motive is pure and we're doing something with the intention that it'll be beneficial to ourselves and preferably beneficial to other people, then our goals should unfold before us reasonably smoothly. We will encounter obstacles along the way. That's part and parcel of the journey, but these obstacles aren't there to stop us. They're just there to challenge us to see how committed we are. Because if the road is smooth the entire way and we don't experience any challenges, then we don't appreciate any effort required to achieve something. But if we encounter these obstacles that test our discipline and test our patience and our commitment, then we know that we have faith in the goal we've set. We know that we are determined to achieve it. We do have commitment. We do have the patience necessary to navigate the challenges in order to get to the next step along the journey. And by having our faith tested like this, we achieve true faith, as opposed to faith that's bolstered by God knows how many ego props. It's by having these crutches stripped away bit by bit along the journey to the top that we learn to develop self-sufficiency. We learn to realise that half the things that we think we need, we don't actually need them. We have the necessary qualities within us in order to achieve the goals. But sometimes we need life to strip something away to get us to realise that actually we didn't need that prop in our lives. We have this internal strength and resilience to achieve our goal. And this obviously changes when the Sun moves into Aquarius. So with Capricorn, it's the highest point in the chart. Once you've got to the top of the mountain, there's only one way or one direction you can go, and that's back down again. But whatever wisdom that we've attained in our journey to the top and in our journey to becoming our authentic selves, in Aquarius, this is where we share it. So it's where we rejoin the community and we share our insights, we share our wisdom, and we try to use them in a way that will benefit the community and will elevate everyone else around us. And it's also time for individuation. So what I mean by this is that we strip away we learn to understand who we are as a unique individual by stripping away all the conditioning influences like societal conditioning. So we all have different conditioning depending on which culture we grew up in, what beliefs we were given, what kind of education we pursued. But for every single one of us, there's a part of us that transcends that condition, is not dependent on conditioning at all. And it's tapping down into that is the job of Aquarius. It's understanding who we are. If we were in a completely different environment, what is the constant within us? What is the core identity at the soul level which transcends cultural conditioning? But once we understand who we are, this is just the first step. We then need to share the wisdom or share the visions that we have through going through the individuation process and share it with the community, so that whatever wisdom and insights that we have that could help lift people out of their current condition, we share it with them and we work together as a community. So each person goes through the same process, they understand who they are, they overcome their conditioning from the past, and they operate from their true self, their higher self. Because Aquarius is connecting with the higher mind. It's the mind that unites us all together, or connects us all together, and gets us to the realization that in reality, nothing is separate. Everything is connected in one way or another. So if we elevate ourselves in terms of understanding who we are, stripping away any negative conditioning, and become the best version of ourselves we can be, and sharing that with the community, that can help lift the collective consciousness, because each person's vibration impacts everyone else's. So if we can raise our vibration through understanding who we are, connecting to the higher mind, and allowing intuition to guide us and to show us what we need to be doing in order to benefit and aid our community, then this in turn, or this service, can help to lift other people out of whatever limitations they've been setting for themselves, so that they can also become the best version of themselves and strengthen their connections within the community, and also help in a humanitarian way. Now, the dates that I mentioned, the second is going to be a key one. First of all, we start off with the full moon in Cancer, so we're looking at the need for balancing Capricorn and Cancer within us. So Capricorn deals with the objective reality, it's the outside world, and it's dealing with the physical side of things, so having structures in our lives, having goals, and developing things like patience, perseverance and self-control. But if these get applied to our emotions instead of our actions, then we can end up suppressing our true nature, and we end up pursuing goals which are wrong for us. This is where the moon in Cancer comes in to balance it, because Cancer is our internal nature, it's the core, it's our roots, if you like. So Cancer is the bit that's below, or isn't necessarily visible to other people, it's something that only we can tap into. But Cancer is about connecting to those core emotions, it's connecting to the roots of who we are in order to nourish our goals. If we don't stay connected to who we are, then we lose sight of what we really want to do, and we may become very successful in our goals, but if the goals aren't actually true to who we are, then we're going to feel like a fraud doing them. So the moon in Cancer is a reminder to stay connected to the roots of who you are, or the core of who you are. Remember to remain connected to your emotions, because emotions can sometimes be an indication that something is off. So it's connecting with our intuitive side as well as the objective. So the two balance each other out, really, because with Cancer, if the emotional side is overdone, or the emotions aren't contained, then we can end up navel gazing, we can become very moody, or we can wall ourselves off from other people emotionally out of fear of vulnerability. And Capricorn helps us become more objective in this respect. It allows us, gets us, or reminds us to look outwards as well. So look at what's going on around us, understand things in a more objective way, and be objective with our actions, so that our actions are aligned with who we are, rather than pursuing goals which, as I said, we may become successful in them, but if they're not true to who we are, we're going to feel like a fraud pursuing them. On the same day, Uranus turns direct. So Uranus has been going through Aries for the past 7 years and helping us to delve deeper inside ourselves, to strip away some of the conditioning and awaken us to the deeper potentials of our own spark of identity, of recognising the fact that if we want a collective transformation to take place, then we as individuals have to transform ourselves first and transform our own lives if we want to bring about a worldwide manifestation or a worldwide change. So it's been a time of reflecting on, do we pursue actions that are aligned with our intuition? Do we have the courage to become agents of change? Are we prepared to change our sense of self-identity so that we strip away the egoic sense of identity and become more aligned with the soul sense of identity? And do we have the courage to make the changes in our lives to reflect this, to honour our individual spark? Because if we don't respect, or if we don't align with who we are, then we're not really going to be able to achieve our highest potential, because the most important thing we can ever do is to learn to know ourselves. And Uranus in Aries has been trying to awaken that pioneering spirit, the willingness to embrace the unknown and to take action despite not knowing what the outcome will be, and to really embrace change in our lives. But with Uranus going direct now, this means that all of the major planets are going to be direct, so we may experience a massive surge in forward motion. But one thing we need to be careful of is that our egos don't hijack this, because it's important that we take action and we allow the flow to guide us. But if the ego gets in the way, we can end up taking actions which are completely wrong for who we are, and that pulls us off centre and just causes a whole load of trouble for ourselves. So it's important over the next 2 months after Uranus turns direct that we do take time each day to slow down and stay connected to who we are as individuals, because if we don't do this, we can end up getting swept along with the crowd, and if the crowd is going in the wrong direction for what we're trying to achieve, then it's going to spell trouble for us. So at all times we need to make sure that we stay true to who we are, and we don't allow the influences around us to pull us off our path. Saturn in Capricorn can help with this, because Saturn is about discipline, about commitment, of self-control, and in Capricorn it's simplifying things, it's stripping away things which aren't necessary in our lives and trying to simplify things so that we only have what we need, rather than pursuing things that we want but aren't actually going to do us any favours at all. So tapping into Saturn could be a key way out of that trap at this time. Now, the other day as mentioned was the 17th. We have the new moon in Capricorn, so this is an opportunity to set goals in the realms of Capricorn. So this could be things like striving to have more integrity. So if we say we're going to do something, we may set the intention that, right, we're going to learn to commit to what we say, so we only agree to do something if we're going to do it. So let your yay be yay and your nay be nay. And this could also be about setting a long-term goal in life. So we may have wanted to do it for a long time, but we've just never committed to it. But a goal is not going to manifest if we don't take the actions to do it. And any long-term goal that's worth anything is going to require us to develop things like commitment, like discipline, like patience, like perseverance. And the new moon may give us the opportunity to do that. We may also decide to spend a bit more time in solitude, not to isolate ourselves or anything like that, but just that with Capricorn, if we allow social approval to dictate our actions, then we're going to manifest a shadow side. We'll be wearing masks for everyone, so people will like us because of the mask we're wearing, not because of who we are. So one of the things we may decide to do is to spend a bit more time in solitude in order to know who we are and strengthen our connection with ourselves, so we can build up that resilience to social pressure, and we can learn to avoid being sucked into the mire that social approval can cause. Because if we get seduced by things like fame or the opportunity to wield power in public, and these things aren't true to who we are, then this is going to cause us a lot of problems and may well lead to a major fall towards the end. So the new moon in Capricorn may be time of learning to have that integrity where who we are in public is a reflection of who we are inside. We're not pretending to be anyone else other than ourselves. Now, the other date that I mentioned was the 31st of January. This is when we have the lunar eclipse in Leo. So we had the last lunar eclipse in August of 2017. So the solar eclipse, and the lunar eclipse is like bringing to the end that particular period of learning. So it's a 6-month period where I've been learning about connecting with our core sense of self, of learning to develop those things like love for oneself, of self-confidence, of having the courage to pursue the goals we set for ourselves and to pursue our dreams, to embrace play. So the lunar eclipse may well be a time of seeing how well we've learnt these lessons, but it's also a time of shedding. It's past, it's like past meets future at the eclipse, and whatever we've been carrying so far that doesn't serve us, we may find it naturally dies during the eclipse window. Because when the eclipse starts, it opens up a window of transformation which will continue until the solar eclipse on the 15th of February in Aquarius. So during this time, we may find that things that we thought we needed but are actually no longer true to who we are start fading away, and the less we resist this process and the more we go with the flow, we detach from things as it's been revealed that we no longer need them, and let the things which no longer have a place in our lives fade away in order to create space for the new beginnings. But if we don't make space for something, then we won't be able to create anything new in our lives. So it's shedding the old in order to bring the new. So there's a lot going on in January, but I hope this report is a useful guide for what I can expect. So may January bring you much growth, may it bring you much awareness, and may it bring you closer to who you are as an individual, and may it be a great start for 2018 for every single one of us, and may we develop great integrity and authenticity in our lives, so that people, when they see us, they know that we have integrity because we're just being who we are. We're not wearing masks or pretending to be something that we're not. So may January bring you many blessings. Take care.